really looking at a home defense weapon that's going to sit in your nightstand, revolvers are a great choice. The reason why is simplicity, and simplicity is your biggest friend when it comes to a weapon. Being able to be consistent with how to shoot it and no new changes or anything that can happen is pretty important. Revolver, basically, you're going to have a cylinder that opens out the side. The downfall most people say with the revolver is that you have a limited capacity of ammo, but if we're comparing to like semi-autos and single stacks, they're all roughly the same. You know, that 5 to 8 range is pretty close. Basically, you load up your revolver in the cylinder, you close it up, it's always ready to fire. There is no safety on it. They usually have a harder double action trigger pull, which you have to give a little bit more effort to make that fire, but it's not a lot when you're in duress and you have to shoot it pretty quickly. You can see this one right here is hammerless, which means if you're concealing carrying also this one in your purse, there's a lot less likelihood that when you draw it out it's going to get snagged on anything. It's much more feasible for a purse or body carry. The other type of revolver is going to be a single double, which allows you to, like I said on this one, go ahead and pull the hammer down, double action, harder trigger pull, your defensive shot. And then target shooting, instead of having that hard double action trigger pull where you're going to go ahead and have the tendency to kind of jerk the weapon to the side because of that trigger pull, you can put it into single action, and then when you go ahead and pull that trigger, it's going to be a very, very light trigger pull, making it very accurate for target shooting. Also a good choice for carry, as long as you're cognitive that you do have the hammer, and if you go to try to draw it out real quick out of your purse or pocket, it could get snagged. Semi-auto platforms take a little bit more training. There's a lot more moving parts with them. You're going to have to be able to self-diagnose and correct problems. But typically how the action on it works is rollback style action, meaning your slide after it fires the weapon will, with the explosion of the round, cycle backwards, ejecting around, chambering a round from your magazine, which pops up vertically, thus chambering another round forward. So a lot more moving parts with it. If you do a lot of shooting, a lot of training, it's actually a great weapon platform to have. Basically, you're going to have a much better selection of weapons to choose from. Some weapons come with safety, some weapons do not have safeties. I wouldn't get hung up on that. I would get hung up on being consistent with how you use your weapon, how you draw your weapon, and how you shoot it. You also have single stack and double stack. Your single stack is going to be your small concealed carry. A lot harder to see it under your clothes, called printing. And then you have double stack, like this Glock Model 19 Gen 4. This is a double stack which allows you to have a much higher capacity. So on this 19 here, you're going to be running 15 round capacity versus 17 rounds like on a Glock 17 9mm. But it's much thicker in your hands, it's a much bigger hand grip, and it's going to be great for more of that duty carry in your holster. It can still be concealed. Tons of brands that you can choose from. The biggest thing is putting the weapon in your hand and seeing if it feels correct, if it's, you know, if the weight is bearable, if you're able to actually physically cycle the action.